excited. What's going on, y'all? Joseph Morrison, aka Kojo Locs here. If you've never been to my channel before, welcome. We talk about locks at this channel, so if you want to hear more about that, subscribe, like this video below. But I'm a little hyped today because today I'm actually getting a retwist. Like I'm actually getting, well, a retwist or an interlock. Most likely an interlock, but it's going down. Like I'm actually really excited about it. So I gotta gather my things. It's kind of been a busy day today. So I'm gonna gather my stuff, get in the car. It's gonna be kind of a vlog style video, I guess, today. And then we're gonna talk about a few things in regards to getting a retwist or getting a re-interlock. So stick around. Where's my keys? I know the cat has my keys. Bro, what are you doing with my keys, bro? I'm taking these. I gotta go somewhere. Wallet, phone, jacket. All right. Woo. Here we go. So we're on the road. We're going to be talking about a few things today in regards to this retwist. Retwist or re-interlock. I'm probably going to do a re-interlock, but we'll see. We're going to discuss essentially the benefits of getting a retwist or a re-interlock, right? Like, why does it benefit your locking process? What's so important about it? I guess in comparison to the freeform method. The second thing we're going to talk about is also just looking at, like, when should you get a retwist? Like, should you get a retwist every week, every 2 weeks, every month, every 2 months, right? And again, that's gonna depend on if you're doing a retwist or if you're doing a re-interlock. So there's different answers for that too. And number 3, we're just gonna talk about the process itself and just, you know, kind of ways that you can maintain your retwists or re-interlock, things like that. So we'll talk about all of it when I get back to the house. But I'm so excited. Anyway, stay tuned, I'll be back. I'm back. And the interlock is done. Yup. Got the interlocks done. Feeling fresh, feeling clean. Woo, that looks good. You know what, let me give you guys a closer look over here. Let's get to our little corner right here. Alright, here we are. Looking into that fresh interlock. I will say this. Didn't have time to get a lineup, so don't worry about the lineup or the hair. We'll figure that out later. But here we go, man. This is a fresh job. As you can see, you can really see my parted sections a lot better now, and that's one of the benefits, and I'll go into it a little bit later, but that's one of the benefits of getting a retwist or getting an interlock done, is because, you know, you can kind of segregate those parted sections again. By the way, my hair is budding. Like, let me just show you guys the bud real quick. So if you look right in here, you can see that right there. That's a bud right there. My hair is budding. So I basically am dreadlocks now.
100%.
There's a couple other buds actually going on in here, but I won't bore you guys with the semantics of showing you that. But yeah, man, this is it pretty much. You know, still a little bit of frizzing, but again, frizzing is part of the process, and I'm not one that really hates to see frizz. But yeah, this is the 360 of it right now. And I'm really happy with it. She did a great job. My head doesn't feel too tight. She didn't do it too tight or anything like that. Everything was good. So let's sit back and discuss the process a little bit. All right. So now that we got that out the way, you guys got to kind of take a look at what the retwist looks like. Again, super happy, couldn't be happier. Let's go into, you know, talking about the point of a retwist. And before we do that, gotta have some water. Water is just like nice, you know? All right, so jumping into number 1, looking at the purpose of getting a retwist and the purpose of getting a re-interlock or interlocking your hair again. So, you know, the main reason is just to maintain the integrity of those parted sections, right? As your hair starts to grow, you know, the hair is gonna do what it wants. So frizzing is gonna start. The hair is gonna start coming out of those parted sections. They're gonna start going over to other parted sections, and as that locking process continues, if those hairs aren't separated, it's gonna start to merge into another lock, right? So you can imagine how difficult it's gonna be at that point to separate those hairs from the other locks. So the reason why you want to do your retwist, let's say, if we're talking about a retwist, the reason why you're going to want to do your retwist is to maintain the integrity of those parted sections, make sure that the hairs are locking in their own parted section and that they're not, you know, swimming over to the other side or swimming over to other parted sections. Same thing with interlocking, right? It's the same purpose. You want to make sure that you are maintaining those hairs in those parted sections and just keeping your hair well maintained so that there isn't any issues down the road where you have to like split locks apart or whatnot. Obviously, if you're somebody who's doing the freeform method, and I don't talk too much about the freeform method because it's not the method that I'm doing, but if you are doing the freeform method, then you wouldn't get a retwist or a re-interlock. You're just kind of letting your hair grow freeform, and however it locks up is how it locks up. As far as the timing, so let's say you're getting a retwist, so you're getting that recoil, right? You're gonna wanna do that, I would say once a month is kind of the standard time frame, mainly because you don't wanna be doing it too frequently. So I think doing it once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks even is a little too frequent, because every time you get a retwist or an interlock, you know, you are putting stress on your hair, right? You're putting stress on your scalp because you are pulling on the hairs, you're pulling at the root of your hair, and that does damage your scalp, right? So if you're getting a retwist every 2 weeks, that's just too frequent. Once a month is pretty good, gives your hair enough time to kind of grow out a bit, give the scalp a little bit of a break, and then you can go into getting another twisting session done. If you're doing interlock, I would wait even longer than that, because an interlock is a lot tighter of a hold or a lot more of a pull on that initial interlock. I would say 2 months is kind of the ideal time frame to use between interlocks. So every 2 months is when you should go back to get your interlock done. And the benefit of that is, because I know a lot of people are thinking 2 months, bro, my hair's gonna be crazy at that point. But because it is interlocked, it's not gonna come out as easily. So you can wash your hair a little bit more freely. You can do things to maintain your scalp a little bit better with the interlocking method. So every 2 months is good, gives that scalp a little bit of a break. And then you can go back in and get that fresh, you know what I'm saying? I'm so hyped right now. Like, my hair is budding. I am dreads. Like, all right, so since I already discussed number 2, which was time frame of how often to get a retwist or how often to get an interlock, let's jump right into number 3. And number 3 simply is just how to maintain your interlock or how to maintain your retwist. So just to give it a little bit more time. So every time you get mainly for retwisters, every time you get that retwist, you want it to last as long as possible, right? And by last, I mean, you want your parted sections to stay separated as long as possible, for the hair to stay as tight and as twisted as long as possible, because obviously the closer we can keep that hair together, you know, the better chance your hair is gonna have to lock up and it just looks cleaner. So a couple things that you can do, nothing special, I've kind of touched on them in past videos, but wearing a hat, making sure you're wearing your do-rag at night is super, super key. Or wearing your do-rag or your silk satin scarf around the house, super, super key. Are just things that you can do to kind of help to maintain that retwist. And same thing with that interlock, right? You still want to be wearing your do-rag to bed at night. You still want to be wearing that silk satin scarf at night. And for re-interlockers rather, if you're washing your hair, just make sure you're still washing your hair relatively gently, right? You're just going through those parted sections because that's what needs to be clean. It's that scalp that needs to be clean, right? So just making sure you're still being gentle when you're washing your hair, you're not going too vigorously. And really, those are the main things you can do to maintain the integrity of that retwist or the integrity of that interlock. And that's pretty much it, you know? So for me now, I'm 3.5 months locked. You guys saw my last, or one of my last videos, which was my 3-month lock video. So, and I'll even show you guys, so this is the video of when I was 3 months locked, and just to kind of see where my head was, and geez, like I hadn't had a retwist or an interlock in a while. So you can see it looks crazy right now. But to see what it looks like now, obviously a lot cleaner because of that interlock. And the cool thing I noticed too in getting this interlock done was I didn't even notice that my hair was budding. And I look at my hair every day. And I really didn't notice it, but when she went in and re-interlocked it, I guess because my buds were so close to the root that when she re-interlocked it and interlocked that new growth, it made the bud kind of go a little bit higher up, and that's why I think I can like see that my hair is actually budding. So I guess another thing I would throw in there is that, you know, when you do get a re-interlock or you do get a retwist, it does give you a better image, or you get to see your hair in a cleaner state, so you can really see what the hair is doing. And yeah, got a couple buds coming in. I'm pretty happy about it. Gonna keep the process going. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. right? Got that re-interlock, feeling good. And I guess for the next video I'm gonna do will be on washing your hair. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'll kind of give you guys a little bit more of a behind the scenes look at what it looks like when you're washing your hair, or how I wash my hair. So I'm gonna sign out on that note. Keep it locked. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below as always. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for my next one. Kojo Locs signing out. Peace and love.